What's going on, comic fans? Welcome back to the Legion of Comics. I'm here with my top 10 picks for this coming week's new comic book day, releasing June 12th. A lot of good ones and some announcements to make along the way. Some really exciting stuff is happening in the next week. Don't miss out. Let's go. Huge shout out to ABX Comics and Games. That's my local comic shop. That's where I'll be picking up all the books that are on this top 10 list. You can find a link to their stuff in the description of all my videos, as well as a link to the cleaner and presser, JustinComicx, which is who presses and cleans my books for me. Great, fast turnaround time. He can submit to the grading companies for you. Be sure to check him out. Let him know you found him via the channel. Let's get into it. This is my top 10 picks for this coming week. Not in any specific order. There's a lot of these that I'm excited about, obviously, so it's in my top 10, but there's very few things more exciting in comic books right now than what's happening in the Energon universe. And we have number one on the list is Transformers issue number 9. Now, this isn't just any cover. This specifically featuring Soundwave there is the Big Time Collectibles exclusive by John Jang. I'm only doing one cover for these books, so I had to go with this one. This is definitely amazing. I have the A cover coming as my reader copy, but look at that. John Jang was born to draw Transformers. I cannot wait to dive into this story as we have the Decepticons hierarchy has shifted. We're getting tons of backstory into Cybertron, and those worlds of Earth and Cybertron are about to collide in exciting ways, and I cannot wait to dive into it. Next up on the list, coming in at number 2, Jeremy Adams' Green Lantern. In that last issue, we saw how Jordan tried to call out the United Planets for being a corrupt organization, only to find out that the corruption went deeper than he could have imagined. The Star Sapphire got tapped, though, at the end of the last issue, and we're going to see Star Sapphire get brought into the ever-expanding world of Green Lantern under Jeremy Adams' tenure here. It's been fantastic. He really is truly expanding the Green Lantern Corps out really fast. We have a lot of the lanterns all in this title together, and it's only right that we start introducing those other color spectrums. Star Sapphire is the obvious selection to come up first. Next up, Philip Kennedy Johnson and Nick Klein, the dynamic duo for the Incredible Hulk, are back with issue number 13 with Banner's little companion lost to hell. He's after her. He went to see the Strange Academy, and Brother Voodoo sent Banner to the spirit world to go retrieve her. Meanwhile, the Raging Hulk seems to be loose in the Strange Academy. And we saw a couple of cool fights already, showcased really just how powerful the Hulk is, even against magic users, as he was just tossing them around like this little dong. But I'm excited to dive into this. I'm even mostly excited that Nick Klein is back on this title. I know so many people dropped it during his absence that the artist that was on it just wasn't good. Let's just call it what it is. I mean, it's not bad art, but the hard shift, I mean, you can't expect people just to stay excited when you just kind of dangle something nice in front of us and take it away. But hopefully Nick Klein is here to stay for a little while and isn't just popping in for a couple of issues. But if you're looking for absolute top-tier talent all around, the only thing that has me more excited than the Energon universe is the Ghost Machine stuff. And we have Geiger issue number 3 by writer Jeff Johns, artist Gary Frank, colorist Brad Anderson, and letterer Rob Lee. That is such an amazing, creative powerhouse. This whole universe is absolutely awesome. And in this run of Geiger, we're seeing the Glowing Man trying to find a potential cure for his condition, I guess you would call it. But he has Nathan Knight, the trusty survivor from the Volume 1 that is now teamed up with him, who is taking him on this cross-country journey to try to find this cure. It looks like they're kind of going to make stops along the way, addressing problems they run into. He's being stalked also by a mysterious character called the Electrician, who we don't have any backstory on. We've seen the Electrician now make a couple of kills. Not sure how close he is to catching up to Geiger, but I'm excited to dive into this. Clocking in at number 5 on the list, the final issue of the Suicide Squad Dream Team. This was a 4-issue limited series that kind of ushers us into Absolute Power, at least a major piece of Absolute Power, which is DC Comics' major summer blockbuster event. The first time we've had one of these in a handful of years. I'm really excited for it. This Dream Team book specifically is covering the events of how Amanda Waller is going to have her base of operations. She invaded the island nation of Gamora with her Dream Team, headed by none other than Dreamer herself, who's a precog. It's kind of Amanda Waller's like most prized possession right now. So once she gets this base of operations, she's intending to use it to assault the entire DCU, and anyone that has meta powers is on her hit list. It's also going to be the place where she sets up her super max prison, I believe. So I'm excited to see how this one plays out. The character Dreamer, this is like going to be like the book to go to when people ask about that character or want to learn about that character, or if Dreamer catches on in the long run. This is going to be the one that they go back to. It really kind of rounded out the character and carved out who that character actually is inside the DCU. As the character first appeared on the Flash television show on the CW, making her way into comics not long ago. So really just getting her flushed out now, but they've done a really solid job. So I do want to take a pause here in the middle of the list and let everybody know that I will be at Heroes Con in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's going to be on June 14th through 16th. I'll be at booth 1769, representing Comics Curing Cancer with Rob's Fat Sacks of Comics and DJ Links. We have all kinds of stuff planned. We're really excited to showcase everything and raise money to help fight the eternal villain, cancer. You can follow us at Comics Curing Cancer on Instagram. Scan that QR code. We'll have as one of the items the featured Comics Curing Cancer art book with tons of phenomenal artists. We got some pros in there, some community members that really came together to make this what it is. It's just absolutely fantastic. That'll be at booth 1769, only sold there. If there are any extras that remain after the fact, we'll put them up on our website. But you can go right now and pick up your Comics Curing Cancer Big Time Collectibles shared exclusive of Sonic the Hedgehog, issue number 69. Huge thank you to Big Time Collectibles who made this possible, donated half the print run, the art, shipped them to us, everything. We will be selling those at the booth as well. But in true Big Time Collectibles fashion, we have allocated a handful of these to our website, which you can find in the link below. And you can pick your copy up if you can't make it to Heroes Con and you still want to support the cause. Cannot say thank you enough to all the people that are making this possible. Let's kick it back over to the list coming in at number 6. And this is a big one. The return of Elseworlds itself. Now, the people that have stuck around comics and read them for a long time know that Elseworld books have still been being told, like Dark Knights of Steel and stuff like that. They didn't have the brand on them, though. It didn't say Elseworld. I don't know why they ever took it away, but Elseworld is simply a story that does not take place in the main continuity. You can write any story you can imagine, set it in any time period you want, and it's just labeled Elseworld. Kingdom Come, the most famous Elseworld there is. Gotham by Gaslight is one of the most famous Elseworld stories that's ever been told. It's even been adapted into an animated feature film. So they're finally going to revisit that world of the 1800s. Originally, it was like Jack the Ripper versus Batman. Now, in this one, we're going to have the Kryptonian age. Meteors fall out in the sticks and Batman investigates. So we're introducing Kryptonians into the Gaslight universe. I'm very excited to see Elseworlds comes back. They announced this at San Diego Comic-Con last year. There's numerous more titles to follow, including the next volume of DC versus Vampires and the next volume of Dark Knights of Steel. Very, very, very fun stuff. Next up, the return of another character. Dick Tracy is back at Mad Cave Comics. Issue 1 was a blast. Issue 2 I'm excited for. It's the classic Dick Tracy you know and love, just really amped up for a modern audience. And when I say that, I mean it's a little hard-hitting, it's a little graphic, definitely violent. It's still set in old-timey days, old-timey dialogue and all that kind of stuff, and that's what really draws me in. But it's got that edge to it now. And in issue 1, we saw a mass shooting occur in a diner. It was clearly a mob hit and a lot of collateral damage, and Dick Tracy is on the scene. In this book, it goes back to the very origins of it, where he hasn't met this insanely amazing rogues gallery that Dick Tracy has. I really think that Batman is the only person with a comparable rogues gallery to Dick Tracy. He really started that all, so definitely recommend this one as well. Next up, another character that's back. Issue number 2 of Exo Manowar Invictus drops this week. I'm excited for this one. I'm kind of nervous as Valiant Comics is in a weird place, just kind of getting up and running again, and they're trying to set off with this big event. It looks like Exo might not be drug into it. They touched on it at issue 1, and this is really just this character, Eric, trying to get recharge and get prepared for his next battle to go get his soothsayer back that he lost in the last mini-series, which was just a few months ago. So definitely excited to dive into this one. And the next two are just guilty pleasures. We have a Godzilla, Best of Space Godzilla, reprinting some Godzilla stories of the past and everything. And then for number 10, we have a brand new Godzilla story, and this one looks a little weird. Godzilla Skate or Die, set in Australia. And this is where it gets interesting. If you are a kaiju fan, Varon, a character who only appeared in one Godzilla movie, he had his own movie, is going to be the big villain in this. These kids are just trying to do their thing, have fun. They set up their own skate park, and it gets interrupted by the character Varon. And Godzilla is going to obviously be on the trail somewhere along the way. So this is a fun one. I pick up all the Godzilla stuff. I read it with my kid. There's very few that I keep in my PC. Definitely Here There Be Dragons. That book was a masterpiece. But read them with the kid, let him keep them in his stuff, and it really just keeps that excitement for the medium, for reading and all that going. So definitely going to check this one out. That's my top 10 list for this week. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're picking up in the comments below. I appreciate everybody watching. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot. It's absolutely free. Or if you want to consider supporting beyond that, there's a join button where you can hit up that channel membership or check out the merch store down below. I've been adding a lot of new stuff to it recently. I appreciate every one of you. Until next time, as always, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.